I've been playing in my Minecraft world for nearly 4 years at this point, and I realized recently that there's something missing. Lore. I've got all of these builds spread throughout the world, but none of them really have any history. So today we're going to be building around the base with a primary focus on lore. And of course, making sure things still look good. I have got some bigger builds in mind, but sometimes all you need is just a small detail, and it can add just that little bit of mystery you need in the world. For example, a rock carving. Of course, art is in the eye of the beholder, so I'll let you depict if you'd like to, but what I'm kind of imagining is house, sun, mountain. I don't know what that is, I just felt like something was needed up there, but it's kind of the rendition of my base in very simplified form. I love this archway. It's probably my favorite bit of naturally generating terrain here in the mountains. The only thing I've changed is this pathway going through the middle. The rest literally just generated like that. It's one of the main reasons I decided to set up here. And now it's covered in rock carvings. We got our main one at the bottom there. Just made a cool little shape up in this spot. And over here, the wall of faces. Creeper, classic. Spider, less classic, but it works. And zombie. Bit of a push with this one. But if we continue going through this archway, we eventually can join onto this pathway, which that leads to my monolith. This is one of the only builds in my world that actually has a little bit of lore. The trouble is, that lore is just about as basic as it can be. I pretty much decided on, for some reason or another, this monolith broke away from its stand here at the bottom and started rising into the sky. That's it. Absolutely nothing else. And it's definitely got the potential to do a little bit more with, I would say. Many moons ago lived a wizard brimming with power, but no vessel to focus that energy into. Until one day he discovered a towering monolith. It would be perfect. And so he paid some local villagers to construct him a nearby home. For years he studied this behemoth of a structure, until one day he became so infested with power, he tore the very monolith from its roots before yielding to his own overwhelming force. Or something like that. I don't know, I'm just brainstorming here. But this is the wizard's tower, or what's left of it anyway, and I'm hoping you can kind of see the shape that it was once meant to be. We kind of have this half, which is the house shape, where I suppose he would have been living, and then the actual tower shape, this circular section, is where he would do his wizardry stuff, but it has well and truly collapsed in on itself by this point. And I thought, instead of just leaving it empty or building something related to the wizard, we could do something a bit different and build a camp here that maybe someone long after the wizard's time, but also before our time, set up a small settlement in here. We could even make them monster hunters maybe, stick some of the mob heads that I've got on these pikes here. How does that look? Yeah, that adds another level of lore, right? This is a zombie villager, by the way, not just a regular villager. They're meant to be the good guys. So I mentioned how this wizard had all of that power, and I kind of want to build something to explain how or why or where he was getting that power from. So on the pathway that leads up to the monolith, we have a few mini monoliths dotted along the path here. And eventually we get up to the top where the grass ends and the snow begins, and the pillars just sort of stop. But the pathway keeps on going here, heading back up to the archway when we get to this dip in the land, shall we call it. Are you guys thinking what I'm thinking? Meteorite. We've got this foreign object from outer space come and crash down into the mountain, and in theory, where did it go? Round here? We've got these pillars now extended a little bit further out that are acting as conduits and taking the power of that object all the way from the crash site to the castle over there. Yeah, okay, that's good enough. Makes sense to me. So I've got a lot of cave openings spread across the mountain here, most of which I have turned into frozen lakes, just because I prefer how that looks a little bit. And I've got an idea of something we could put under the ice. First things first though, I need to craft some bone blocks. Okay, that should be enough. I've seen this before being done with layered glass, and a lot better of a build than what I'm creating here, but I like the idea so much that I really wanted to try it myself. It's really subtle and a little bit hard to see, but I think I kinda like that, honestly. It adds that level of mystery where it just sort of catches your eye and you can make something out down there. And also you can't see properly how terrible of a skeleton I've made. I guess the lore on this one could be something along the lines of there's a system of underwater tunnels beneath the mountain, and once upon a time there lived a bunch of creatures residing down there, and now that's all that's left of them. Just a little quick one there, but I like it. And next up, we're heading over to those mountains. Now, does that not just look absolutely epic up there, especially with the tower in the background? I love it. Texturing is still something I'm trying to figure out and get to grips with. I've sort of tried to place all of these blocks in a way that makes somewhat sense. If you kind of follow the mountain outline around this block of stone, you can see a lot of the whiter blocks like calcite and white concrete powder are all next to the snow and the actual mountain, and then it kind of fades out into darker colors, as though the snow of the mountain and the cold weather up here has almost imprinted itself onto this rock. Had a bit of a snowstorm whilst I was building this, so I need to just shovel out the way so you guys can see properly. There we go, that's a bit better. So up here I'm not actually planning to do a whole lot. Instead, most of it is going to be down underground, and I need to do a little mob clearing before any of that. So I wanted this temple to have a purpose instead of just being some sort of symbolism. So what I'm doing is digging down into the core of the mountain, which is going to hold some sort of power source. It is pretty dark going down here, but I think I like that. Adds to the mystery, you know? And here we have the core of the mountain with a little bit of debris left over. Should probably have cleaned that up beforehand. Into the fire you go. Maybe this could be connected to the monolith and the wizard or something totally separate, but I just kind of like it as the idea of a power source for something. We've got all of this lava kind of trailing off to the corners, and maybe that gets funneled elsewhere and used to harness the mountain's core. I do think we're possibly missing something at the top here other than just a hole that leads down into the mountain. So I'm maybe just going to pop a couple of pots here with a light source under them. I always like using the decorated pots. I think they are a lovely decoration. I mean, it is in the name after all. The only thing is, at the moment, there's not really a logical way up to this point. I feel like it kind of goes without saying that elytras maybe weren't a thing at this point in time. So a staircase it is, and for now I think I'm just going to try and plot out a rough course that we could go with this thing, making sure I keep close to the mountain here and kind of hug it as we go around. There we go, I'd say that's got a pretty good shape to it, winds around the mountain nicely, so let's just see if we can't turn it into an actual usable staircase. The staircase is officially staircasing. I can climb this nice and easily, but I wouldn't say it particularly looks good right now. I think the main two things we're missing are texture and also some pillars or just general support, because right now it's pretty much just floating alongside the mountain. That is a lot better, a massive improvement I would say. No longer looks like it's a brand new staircase and has actually sustained the test of time a little bit, and you know, it's supported, so even better. I was going to make it a little bit more rundown and generally dilapidated, but I decided against it just so it's a bit easier to walk on and there's no sudden gaps in the floor. I did really like the idea though, so I have decided to add in a small collapsed bridge just going across this gap here, leading to another sculpture of some kind. I'm sure I could make up some meaning behind this thing, but I think I've done my fair share of that today, so I'll leave that one up to you guys. So there we go, everybody. That is going to do it for today's episode. Our world is now filled with 100% more lore, which I guess is a good thing. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. I really hope you did enjoy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.